Alright, so the DJI Air 3 has just been released, and you're probably wondering, should you get a DJI Mini 3 Pro or the DJI Air 3? In this video, I'm going to share with you why I think you should probably still stick to the DJI Mini 3 Pro. Now, just to get this out of the bag, I'm actually a big fan of the DJI Air 3, but if I'm being honest, I don't feel like it's a much better upgrade, especially based on the price point from the DJI Mini 3 Pro. So the first thing I'm going to touch upon is the camera sensor. Now the thing is this, they both use the same camera sensor size, so you're actually going to be getting a very similar image resolution. So even though you're paying a more premium price for the Air 3, you're basically going to be getting very similar images. So that's one major thing that I think would be a deterrent for me getting the DJI Air 3, especially because the DJI Mini 3 Pro has been doing such a great job for me so far. The next point I'm going to touch upon is the fixed aperture. Now, both of these drones have a fixed aperture of f1.7. With that being said, there's basically no change once again. Another thing I'm going to touch upon is the weight. Now, the DJI Air 3 is going to be a little bit more heavier, which is going to be handy when it comes to, staying up in those heavier winds. But I honestly prefer the DJI Mini 3 Pro's weight because it is so light that you don't have to register it when you're flying in certain places. Not to mention, having a lighter drone encourages me to fly a lot more. I don't like having to lug around heavier equipment. Even if it's only a little bit more heavier, that's still a little bit more reason for me to probably not want to take it around. So I actually much prefer a lighter drone. The next reason is about the noise level. Now, the DJI Mini 3 Pro is super quiet. Honestly, when you're flying it, you can go so unnoticed, and it's, a lot easier to fly inconspicuously. When you're flying drones, people can, come around, start staring. It can become a little bit, nerve-wracking. And a big thing for me, or a big plus for me, is that when I'm flying my DJI Mini 3 Pro, I can fly very stealthily. Like, I'm able to fly, up and out without causing much of a commotion. That is something that I prefer. So I'm always gonna like a lighter, smaller drone that's gonna cause less noise, less commotion, less attention. I'm a bit of an introvert, so I really prefer talking to you guys, but I don't want everybody coming around me and harassing me when I'm flying my drone. The next point I'm gonna touch upon is battery life. Now, the DJI Mini 3 Pro and the DJI Air 3 have very similar battery lives. If you're using the extended battery for the DJI Mini 3 Pro, you're actually getting an extra minute. This is going to actually push you over the weight limit. So if you want to have it under the weight limit, you should use the smaller DJI Mini 3 Pro batteries. But the thing is, if you're going to be getting a similar battery life from both of these drones, there's almost no reason to actually upgrade. They're pretty much the same when it comes to battery life. So I can't see why I'd want to change from one to the other. If you own any DJI drone that shoots decently, I have a free conversion LUT for you in the description below. All you have to do is go to freelut.danevisuals.com, and that is yours all for free. And if you've been enjoying this video so far, it would mean the world to me if you could click that subscribe button, as it's going to help me to create more videos like this just for you. Now, as it pertains to the telephoto lens, I do think it's a nifty feature, but honestly, it's not that big a deal for me. Like, there's few situations where I can see it being very useful, maybe for some parallax effects, or maybe if you're shooting wildlife where you can't actually get that close. But personally, I do think drones work a lot better with a wider camera angle, so I wouldn't necessarily want a zoom lens. I guess outside of maybe getting a different form of compression, but honestly, I don't think we necessarily needed that feature. I think it's a bit of a nifty thing, but not something that we necessarily need. A next big reason why I wouldn't upgrade is that vertical mode on the DJI Mini 3 Pro is true 4K. You're getting an actual 4K image directly out of the camera. On the DJI Air 3, what it does is it actually uses the camera, so you get a 2.7K image. Because the camera isn't able to turn vertically like the DJI Mini 3 Pro, you're actually getting a 2.7K image. So it'd be weird for me to go from a 4K image to a 2.7K image, especially if I'm going to pay so much for the upgrade. So personally, that was a major turnoff for me. It's kind of hard to go back to less than 4K if I'm already getting a great 4K image, which, to be honest, if you're just posting for social media, 1080 is fine, but I don't see why I'd pay more for less. And the last thing I add on right now is price. Because the DJI Air 3 is going to be the latest drone on the market, it's going to be significantly more expensive. And honestly, based on the fact that the DJI Mini 3 Pro is giving you more or less the exact same features, I think it would be a lot more cost advantage for you to go with the DJI Mini 3 Pro, especially considering the fact that it's literally the same quality. I mean, there are a few tidbits, and if you are hell-bent on getting an Air 3, there are a few reasons why I'd advocate for it. The new image transmission system is very good. You're going to be able to go up to 20 kilometers away, but in all honesty, that is very far from your line of sight, and I'd never recommend for anyone to fly their drone over 20 kilometers away from themselves, because you're going to have a very hard time seeing what you're doing. Also, the new color mode's pretty good. It has HLG plus D-Log, which I'm going to be a firm advocate of. Personally, I do wish that the DJI Mini 3 Pro had more depth in the colors, especially for D-Cine-like. It's not going to be as flat as D-Log, so you are going to get richer colors coming out of that. But it's not going to be a major deal breaker for me. It is a nice additional feature, and I would have hoped for that. But honestly, based on the price point, I really can't complain from the DJI Mini 3 Pro. Also, if you are a wildlife person and maybe you aren't able to go as close with your camera, having that 70mm additional focal length on your drone is going to be a great plus. I do think that would be an additional nifty feature. And the weight of the DJI Air 3 is going to be better for heavier winds. But to be fair, I do think the DJI Mini 3 Pro holds up very nicely in strong winds. I've flown it in very strong wind conditions, and it's done pretty good. So overall, my stance on it is, if you have the DJI Mini 3 Pro, or if you're considering getting a DJI Mini 3 Pro over the DJI Air 3, I'm going to tell you that it's better to get the DJI Mini 3 Pro. But right now, I do think it is the more superior drone, based on the fact that it is cheaper, has basically the same features, and it holds up very well. And again, that lightweight, minimalistic setup is going to encourage you to be shooting. If you enjoyed this video, the YouTube algorithm says that you're going to love this video right here.